back. So I'm going to tell you something kind of funny that just happened. I just sat here and recorded this entire episode and went to edit it and apparently forgot to turn on my camera. So I'm going to do it again. And hopefully this time it's just as good as it was the first time. So thanks for coming back. Welcome to another episode of Wade's World. Tonight, I'm going to do a story about another kind of a haunted story. Well, it's not kind of, it is. It's a haunted story. It's called the Vanishing Man of Opal Creek. It's a true location, real eyewitness accounts here, all that kind of stuff. It's pretty cool. So anyway, I hope everyone's having a good Thursday. I'm like so embarrassed that I totally, not that you would have known if I hadn't have told you, but anyway, kind of sucks. So I'm getting my hair cut tonight. That's why I've got the craziness going on up top. So enjoy that while it's there. But yeah, this is a true location, multiple eyewitness accounts, and it's a historically documented, or it has historically documented disappearances that have taken place. So without further ado, let's dive into this and we'll get through it again and we'll go from there. So Opal Creek is one of Oregon's last untouched old growth forests. So it has trees that are like 500 plus years old within this place. Deep ravines and a silence so heavy that it just feels like pressure on your chest. But hikers say the silence isn't natural. They say something moves within that silence, something that watches, something that follows them. So tonight we're telling the true story of the Vanishing Man of Opal Creek. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's more than just one man. So the history, Opal Creek has always been dangerous. It has steep terrain, sudden weather shifts, and trails that vanish under a very thick moss. But the real danger isn't the landscape, it's the disappearances. So since the 1950s, okay, all the way back into the 50s, at least 7 hikers have vanished in Opal Creek. So the wilderness, no bodies, no gear, no trace of these people, just gone. Search teams describe the same thing every time. The forest feels wrong, like it's hiding something. So the first sighting in 1962, a logger working near Jawbone Flats reported seeing a man standing between 2 cedar trees, tall, thin, wearing old mining clothes. The logger called out. The man stepped behind a tree. The guy actually moves. When the logger reached that spot, the man was gone, but the ground was undisturbed. No footprints, no sign of anyone having been there. He quit his job the next day. As you do, I wouldn't want to mess with that either. That is some crazy stuff right there. And then the hiker who followed the wrong footprints. This is pretty creepy too. Actually really creepy. So in 1988, a solo hiker named Daniel Price disappeared. His last known location was the trail near Opal Pool. Okay, so search teams found something super strange. Footprints leading off the trail, Daniel's, followed by a second set. The second set, this is where it gets super creepy. The second set was barefoot, very deep impressions, long stride, but they were definitely human. The bare footprints followed Daniel's for nearly half a mile. That's a long ways, on foot. And then both sets suddenly stopped. Mid-stride, like the hikers vanished into thin air. Nothing was found. And then the ranger report, we're getting a little more recent too. 2003, a ranger doing a late season sweep heard something walking behind him. Slow, deliberate, heavy. He turned, nothing but footprints, continued. So it's like he was walking, he heard all these things, and then he stopped, and so did it. And then he continued, and he could hear it again. He describes it as someone pacing just behind him, matching his steps, but when I stopped, they stopped. When I moved, they moved. Has that ever happened to you? Like I've had that happen to me where I've been walking and I feel like I hear a second set of footprints behind me and I stop and there's nothing there. And then when I start again, it sounds like there's someone behind me. But that, I mean, if it's happened to you, then yeah. I mean, if it hasn't happened to you, then it hasn't happened to me either. I'm just asking for a friend. He left the forest immediately and refused to patrol Opal Creek alone ever again. Don't blame him. And then the woman in the ravine. So in 2011, 2 hikers reported seeing a woman standing in a ravine near the old mining equipment that's still there. She was wearing a long dress, soaked, clinging to her legs. Her hair hung over her face. They called down to her, but she didn't respond. And then they climbed down, but she was gone. And the ground where she stood was dry. No footprints, no disturbed moss, nothing. They later learned that a woman drowned in that same ravine in 1979. These are some very descriptive accounts. They're seeing people, not just hearing things. That's rare. The most disturbing account, though, in 2019. A group camping near Opal Pool woke at 2 a.m. to the sound of someone walking around their tent. Slow, dragging 1 foot. They thought it was an animal until they heard a whisper of a man saying, "Are you lost?" Nope, no thank you. Oopsie poopsies. One camper unzipped the tent. Standing just outside was a tall man, with long hair. He unzipped the tent and actually sees somebody standing there. Can you tell me that wouldn't make you crap your pants? Long hair, wearing soaked old-fashioned clothes, standing right before him. He stared at them, expressionless. Then he stepped backwards into the trees and vanished. Not walked away, vanished right before their eyes. The group left immediately, abandoning all of their gear. Don't blame you. Don't blame you at all. Locals have 2 theories. One, it could be the miner who never left. Opal Creek was home to several mining operations in the early 1900s. One miner, Thomas Laird, disappeared in 1914. His body was never found. Some say he still wanders the forest, barefoot, searching for a way out. Number 2, it was the forest itself. Some believe Opal Creek is alive, not metaphorically, but spiritually alive. That the forest takes people. That the Vanishing Man is a manifestation of the wilderness itself, appearing before disappearances happen. Crazy stuff taking place in Opal Creek. So it's a beautiful place. It's an old and ancient place. It's sacred. But beauty doesn't erase danger. And some places don't just hold history, they hold on to people and memory. If you ever hike Opal Creek and you hear footsteps behind you, I probably wouldn't turn around. Because the Vanishing Man might be standing just out of sight. Or in this case, it sounds like he's in sight. He makes himself known, and that is terrifying. Some hikers who see him never come back. That is a wild story. That is super scary, super sketchy. And I have a few more details to share with you about this. So that forest in that area in Opal Creek, it mimics voices as well. So multiple hikers have reported hearing their own names whispered from the trees. Not shouted, not called, whispered. One woman said she heard her name spoken in her mother's voice. The mother had died years previous to this. When she turned, she saw a tall figure standing between 2 trees watching her. And then she left the forest sobbing, like I would too. That is terrible. Tell me you wouldn't load your britches hearing that and then seeing that. And then this is crazy too. This next little fact, the moss covers tracks within minutes. So I used to be a forest firefighter. I used to be out there all the time. I'm very familiar with how the environment reacts to different things. And this one is bizarre. So search and rescue teams say Opal Creek has a bizarre trait: footsteps that vanish unnaturally fast. Moss grows thick and spongy in the area, and it shouldn't erase footprints instantly. Yet teams have watched their own footprints disappear as they walk, like before their eyes. So one SAR volunteer said, "It's like the forest doesn't want you to know where you've been. Like it's creating that confusion and that like unawareness. You get lost, you get confused, of what's going on around you. It's wild. So the sound of someone breathing behind you is another trip. Several hikers report hearing breathing right behind them. Slow, heavy, almost exhausted sounding breathing, even when they're alone. One man said he felt warm breath on the back of his neck. I'm not a big fan of that from people that are alive, let alone a ghost. When he would turn around, no one would be there, but he said the air behind him would be warm, like someone had just exhaled. I don't know about that. I don't like that. The vanishing man that appears in reflections. Okay, number 4. A photographer hiking near Opal Pool snapped a shot of the water. Oh, it'd be cool to have that photo. When he reviewed the photo later, he saw a tall man standing behind him in the reflection. Long hair, soaked clothes, barefoot, just like we've seen or I've mentioned previously. He was alone when he took that photo. He deleted it immediately and refused to return. So we couldn't find it even if we wanted to, but that's wild as well. So number 5, there's a lot of these, so I'm only going to read maybe one more here, and then we'll wrap this up. But the forest goes silent before he appears. Opal Creek is normally loud, birds, insects, running water, all those things. But hikers say the forest goes dead silent right before the vanishing man shows up. No birds, no wind, no water sounds, just stillness. One ranger described it as the kind of silence you get right before a predator strikes. It's so spooky and eerie. I actually, before I had made this huge fumble of recording with no camera, I had never heard any of this before. I've never even heard of this area, to be honest with you. But that is so scary. All of those different accounts, like these are so verified and documented, and these aren't just kind of the little details that you hear in haunted stories that could be anything. Like these are legit scary items that, I don't know about you. I'd be gone. I can't be there. I would be out the door. So anyway, thank you for coming and enjoying this story with me. Again, if you have stuff that you want to hear about, let me know. I had someone else actually reach out to me today and suggest a stretch of road here in Oregon where there's a lot of vanishings and murders that have taken place, or I don't know if you can call them murders, but they've found bodies and a lot of vanishing people. So I'll probably look into that one and maybe bring that tomorrow if I can find it. So anyway, I read these things and I pay attention, and I'm very interested in this stuff. So by all means, don't shy away from reaching out. But I hope you're having a great night, a great Thursday. Some of us have to work tomorrow, I'm sure. I'm going to go into work tomorrow for a little bit of OT, a little bit of that OT. But I'll shoot off another one of these and we'll have some fun. So thank you, everybody, for joining me again on Wayne's World. I hope you're having a great night, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. All right. Thanks so much.